And thank you for meeting with me. But what they asked
Hmm.
me to do for this was just to discuss what I'll be teaching in the first unit or so, talk about
Hmm.
my classroom expectations and routines, the learning standards and objectives that we'll be going over, and then just have a quick chat about the rubric. I'm starting off, I'm teaching the giver, uh,
Okay.
but it's going to be pretty focused on writing at the beginning, just sort of front loading the writing because there's going to be a lot of later assignments that they'll need to use these skills for. But the first major one is going to be having them sort of look at the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals, uh, picking one, doing some research on it, and then just writing like a short 5-paragraph essay, presenting it and presenting the problems and the solutions.
Mhm.
So we'll kind of do one of those in class at the beginning, sort of just like practicing annotation and taking notes on the problems and the solutions,
Mhm.
and then go through writing skills, focusing on standards 8.2, 8.7, 8.8 in the writing from the Common Core.
Yeah.
And the objectives will be students being able to identify unnecessary words or sentences in text and avoid using them in their mini essay. Students being able to recognize transitions and their purpose in a paragraph and using them to organize and structure their ideas. Students being able to translate sentences which use general pronouns improperly into the third person. Uh,
Mhm.
and then being able to synthesize information from several sources into a piece of informative writing. And then we're going to build on that in the second unit. They'll be making their own utopian community, kind of using what they have researched in this part to inform their decision-making process.
Okay.
And then finally writing a literary analysis essay on the novel.
And how long do you reckon this entire unit will run for this novel?
Probably between 12 and 14 weeks, maybe 4 weeks or so for the UN development goals, about
Mhm.
4 to 6 for the project, and then 4 for the essay.
Yeah, that sounds
And
right.
of course, we're focusing on reading standards as well, but I just wanted to
Yeah.
talk about the first. So yeah, the first lesson that the lesson that I'm going to use as my baseline is basically going to go over avoiding cliches, establishing formal writing, and yeah, just like phrasing things properly.
Okay.
So we're gonna watch a video, or we're gonna brainstorm, or I'm gonna show them what informal and formal writing is definition wise, and have them brainstorm different types as a bell ringer, kind of discuss and then like categorize some further ones as we go on. Then watch a video on idioms and cliches, play a game where they brainstorm as many as possible, and whoever has the most original ones wins. What else? Just kind of go through some examples, kind of explain what cliches are, why they should be avoided, uh, then do some practice sentences where they identify them, and I show them how to make them more concise, and then allow them to do that on their own. Give them a paragraph at the end where they sort of like highlight that and then rewrite the paragraph so it looks better.
Okay.
And so basically the identification would be like an exit ticket where I get some data, and then when they leave, I can give them some pointers, and then for homework, rewrite the paragraph.
Okay, good. Yeah. I don't see any issues with that at all.
Yeah. Any idea? Like one thing I'm kind of curious for this is like differentiation, um, which I know is tricky at our school.
Um, for this, obviously, there are different levels of idioms, right? So,
Mm,
um, I would just have some very, very common ones that probably have even been not translated in Chinese, but like also appear in Chinese culture, right?
sure.
Because they're also an idiom culture. Um,
Mm,
and then you could have some higher level ones to just gauge the difficulty of, right? So like very, very common. to a little less common, and that's really about all you can do. Yeah, so like a good opener. Uh, I've taught idioms quite a few times, but have you ever heard this saying? And come up with a couple really cheesy idioms that are like, oh God, that's what Grandma and Grandpa um, say. And then, well, we have a special word for that. They're called
Hmm.
idioms, and they occur in many languages. Like there's like a good opener there, a comedic opener you can use, and maybe that'll get them kind of in the mood for it. But
Right.
just
Yeah,
an
for
idea.
sure. But then I guess just real quickly over classroom expectations, procedures, etc.
Hmm.
I have pretty basic. They've been familiarized with this quite a bit, but just respecting others and yourself as people, respecting others and yourself as learners, be prepared, and all that entails. Saying like routine wise, yeah, bell ringer and mic check at the same time, 5 minutes, and then sort of like norms for group work. I really kind of realized the value of going through this while
Hmm.
going through this course, where it's just like before doing an activity, especially in a group activity, is like explaining how to interact with one another. uh
Yeah, like what group work looks
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
from a bystander, right?
um so yeah, that's why for this. Did you get a chance to look at the rubric at all?
Yeah, I did. I
Did
actually have
you?
it open here on number 10. That's the one you told me to really look at.
Yeah, did you have any questions about it?
No, no, this is all standard stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Right on. Yeah, I guess I had just like a few questions I'll run through
Hmm.
with you.
Okay.
It does mention like special ed, ELL, accommodations, etc.
Hmm.
But essentially all of our students are ELL students. So
Yeah.
um, what just sort of like accommodate based on extreme needs? I think you probably see a lot more variety in your classes than I actually do.
Um, what I group them into, because this is a known fact that we're dealing with an entire population of these students, is I just link them in different learning levels. So, like when I was doing my master's program, I would explain, hey, this is 100% CLD, ELL, ESL, whatever you want to call it, students. So, saying that I'm accommodating for ELL students actually means very little in my context. So I have high learning level and lower learning level. And I don't mean intelligence or IQ. What I'm meaning is how quick they are to master a standard.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going with like the 10th one also, because a
Hmm.
lot of that is sort of regarding like cross curricular planning, um, and aligning our own whatever school projects or things
Yeah.
with
Um,
our school missions and goals, which we have very vague, I feel, missions and goals.
yeah, basically, the real overarching goal of this is at our school was when students graduate, they should be self-efficient learners and lifelong learners, right? So we're trying to get them to a point where if there's something that they're curious about, they have the skills and the problem-solving faculties necessary to do their own research, educate themselves. Just classic. You don't need someone to teach you nowadays with the internet. Like you want to change the brakes in your car, you can do tons of research, watch a YouTube video. The Chinese have a try. Uh,
Yeah, right on. I think that's sort of the direction a lot of education is going in. So
I do too. Yeah, I think so too.
yeah, it's just a matter of kind of getting a little more experience with that while I'm going through all this.
Yeah.
Um, well, yeah, I think that's about all I had to talk about. Did you have any questions about anything or?
Um, no, I don't, man. If you need anything else, we can always do another meeting. You can email me.
Well, again, appreciate it. I'll
Yeah, no
let you go
worries.
ahead and get on with your day. Yeah.
Okay, take it easy, man.
All right. Bye.